Hey guys, looking at 14-foot boat that we've had for a hot minute. As you can see, it's been slightly neglected. It's got a 9.9, I believe, on the rear. It has been, for sure, visited by a family or two. But today I think is the day that we're going to get started taking a peek at her a little bit closer. There's a little guy right there. Hey, you're living in my motor, buddy. What do you think you're doing, buddy? Huh? Think this is okay? Just make a house in some dude's boat? Huh? We'll find a way to get you out of there. Mr. Mouse, you're gonna come out. You got to. I want my motor back. I want you to jump out of there though before we have to get crazy. Rather you come out on your own accord. Yeah, I see you over there, buddy. I'll give you a way out, but I don't know how. Oh my God, there's at least two. There's at least two of you little beasts in here, huh? And I saw both of you poking your little heads out. Well, I tried to give them a little ramp. We'll give them a couple of minutes, see what they think. Otherwise, we'll drag it outside. So for now, I guess we'll move over to cleaning some of this stuff out. Not that this matters near as much as that one, but start taking a look. I think what I want to do is what I've seen a lot of guys do. They'll deck this all the way back, put their tanks underneath, and they'll deck on the sides, maybe just this side, and that side, leave a little well for feet. Put a little platform across for feet. There's nothing that I dislike more than my ankles after a day of boating, all crunched up, and then a big casting deck out front with a little, probably put a little anchor locker here, and a little battery spot here. Maybe get a little trolling motor up here. Since we got a little bit of land, we got a little tiny tractor, but comes in handy, saves my back a bunch. Probably under the seats. It's usually where he seems to hurry out of. Come back to this in a few minutes. On our way, beautiful country, cute little red thing, Toyota Supra maybe. Man, I just love it out here. It's so gorgeous. Beautiful little pond full of lily pads and algae and swans. Someday, something like that. Well, we made it back. Here's what she looks like. We're going to start vacuuming out that engine bay. I did give the mice a little tiny little ramp guy here. Hopefully they jumped out and have dispersed. But we got to get this thing cleaned up. Give it a little tiny spritz of this, huh? Alright, now I got some of that cleaned up, maybe. Need a stiffer brush in that, huh? Pretty clean. Very quick. Here we just got a little aggressive bath. Cover up carb. Spray the rest of it down, maybe. A WD-40 bath. That sounds like a plan. Alright, I think since we got her all out, might as well give her a little rinse off. Pulled the anchor out a little bit. We got a handful of things to hang on to. Mostly this. I did bag that carb, so we should be okay, I think. Let's spray it all down. Let's turn our fuels on. We want it on choke. Put this on run. Get this out of our way so we don't smash our knuckles on it. That was certainly less than enjoyable. Look. But I only have myself to blame for not covering it all up and taking care of it. A little bit cleaner. Hopefully that'll work. I'll leave that power washer out there for a bit. Stop the rust in full effect. Get a little compressor action going. Oh, we got a furry friend down there too. All right, cover your mouths. Different though. Water dispersant 40. Pop it off. I'll be back when I find something. Well, I think I've been beaten. I'm gonna give up on pulling that top off for the points for now. Wait until the next time I run into town. I don't have a gear puller. I don't want to bust it, so I'm gonna grab myself a gear puller. Started pulling off this first seat. One, so we can see what we're dealing with, but two, because all these screws are... That one's okay, but half of them are stripped. This one's stuck. I can't get it out. So we'll just slowly work on taking all this stuff out. Ideally, what I want to get to is to find out what's underneath these seats, because I've seen a lot of people, I know there's styrofoam in here, but this styrofoam is just shot for sure. The amount of mice and stuff that have come through. I think this boat's a 60s, late 60s model. Held up like a tank. When I first got it, I bought it for $100 at a random garage sale I pulled up to. Boat, motor, trailer, all for $100. Threw a coat of black paint on it, trailer lights, and it went fine for a year. It's not very conducive for fishing. There's nowhere for pole storage, there's no live well, there's nowhere to stand, there's nowhere to mount a trolling motor that's comfortable. Just seems like everything about it was set up for or fishing maybe. So like I said, I want to do some mods, but I got to figure out what's underneath there, what we have to work with, and then start looking, get a sheet of marine plywood probably eventually. But I'm gonna get all these seats off. I'll come back after we get this first guy off so you guys can see with me. All right, well, I got them all ready to pull out. Gonna leave them in there for the time being. I wanted to talk about a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. They're pretty obvious, probably. Good old sandwich baggies. I'm not going to reuse this hardware, more than likely. It's a handful of stainless steel bolts, blah, blah, blah. Not super concerned about it, but on the off chance that I need to come back, check out what type of hardware they had here, or I need to temporarily use a piece or two, I'm going to have them all conveniently in a baggie together. That's tip number one. Tip number two is none of these work, so I just drilled it out. Just with a regular drill bit. Just drilled the head off if it's stripped on me. Pulled it out. Punched out the rest of the bolt. I'm coming back to these guys, to my cutoff switch. Let me get a little light. Working on my compressor too, because it's got a little pretty annoying leak. So these guys, and on here temporarily, I was trying to figure out how to get the engine started. Little clip. You want to make sure you don't drop it. Whatever you do, don't drop it, because it's going to be a nightmare to try and fish out of here. If we can even find it. I think I see it right on the edge, possibly. Considering I do this a lot. Got this guy already handy. Hopefully he's magnetic enough. And that piece is not magnetic at all. Can I see it better? Oh, I can see it better from here. I can get it now. can't believe I got it. So I did it. I got it. Another tip. Get yourself a little container. This. You don't want to drop stuff like that. All right. Now back to these guys. Like I was saying, I ran a little bit long because it was just temporary. But I also happened to find a couple fancy little bolt connectors. So I don't remember, I think I ordered a pack off of Amazon, 250 shrink wire connectors, and they're so good for boats. So I'm going to replace all my ends with those. You can see they just pulled right off, which is super awesome. That's exactly what you want to see. Maybe these connectors will be a little bit higher quality and hang on better. More better. There's a guy. This one right here. Just because of OCD, not actual OCD. Just like things a particular way. That guy's not going to last much longer, I don't think. But hopefully it lasts for today. Nope, not even a little bit. Shit. I think that guy's going to blow off. Let's see, do I have any smaller ones? I think the red ones would be better for me. What's smaller? Maybe we don't have that issue. We can just pull it off, huh? Normal foul down one of these guys. Because they only got kinky with one. Two. Damn. Alright. Alright, temp number 724. This guy is so brittle. I don't want to pull anything else off. He's getting down to the point where I can't really reach him very well if anything happens. He's so long. Just give him a little bit of a haircut. Oop. You know you want to. I know you want to. There you go. That's my big connector. All right. Just down there. Oh, baby. All right, I might need to do this different way. Yep. Don't look if you're squeamish. So close. Did you guys see that? Did you see how close I was? This is definitely the same connector, definitely the same attempt. You guys are just haters. Yay! All right. Now why don't we just get? That guy's pretty long. Let's cut these bendy parts out of this one. Size, but since it fits, it ships. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Not super duper fancy. Let's try and make them the same though. Since we can, because these guys are out quite a bit. Oh, that was perfect. Just what you want to see. All right, so now connect to this guy. Nailed it. All right. Now we're going to connect this guy. Also nailed it. And pulled that one right off. I was just making sure you guys were watching. All right, I think this calls for, I don't know what it calls for, but it's not good. These guys already got connectors on them. How do I get these off? Oh, those are terrible. Why would you do that to yourself? Oh, that one's bad too. All right, this is turning into a bigger project. All right, one more attempt. I don't know why you guys didn't tell me that I just had these sitting over there on the workbench, and it'd be much easier to connect this stuff with this end, this style. This one, I just need to be able to get this in here. Yeah. Yeah. Sturdy-ish. All right, I like that. Sturdy-ish. All right, let's put this over here like this-ish. Let's be very gentle. I don't need to be super careful. Just careful enough that I don't pull on the wire side. While I get that in there. All right, perfect. It definitely is not sliding right off. Definitely is not. Okay, now fire. Fire, shrink, there you go. I'm not sure if this is what you meant by heat shrink, but oh, that definitely wasn't what I meant. Let's make sure this is down. There we go. That smells better. What do you think? Hold up for one ride? Maybe? Hopefully she's good. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Ouch. That's hot. Who knew that was hot? Alright, now that that debacle is over for 2 seconds, I'm going to have to switch that out, I'm pretty sure, for a new one. I'll let those cool down before I put that clip back on. Another tip, I'm keeping these boards until I'm done. These angled brackets had a little bit of tension on them, and they actually assist with holding the hull together this way. They're very, very rigid. They're riveted through, riveted on. So they're very important to keep the distance. You can see how this one's shifted. And the whole board is shifted, but it would be similar if these guys need to be moved in a tiny bit. So these are going to be templates, so I know how close together everything would have needed to fit hole to hole. Same for up here. So never remove these. These are actually structural pieces of your boat. I've learned that from other YouTube videos. So just a couple of quick tips. Hardware, measure or keep templates. We'll have to mark these boards, but I'll mark them on the underside so it's easier. It shouldn't be as wet on the bottom side. It's got to stay there. All right, so I'm going to clean up all this stuff. It's another thing, clean as you go. You don't have to put all your tools away, but you start making messes and it gets a little bit out of control, and then you have harder times finding things. So I tend to like to work a little bit, clean a little bit. All right, got her picked up. Ready to pull this first guy off and see what we're working with. Probably not much, but maybe it's something. Maybe I was a little bit silly thinking that these would just pull off really easy like that. Yep. Pretty much what I expected. Eating just perfectly. Oh yeah! See, you can. I don't even know what I was gonna say. All right, so what do we got here? Nice little screwdriver. You can see it's rusted all the way into it, so that's a shot for sure. Spring, those are always handy. We don't actually care what the rest of it is, so I'm gonna take that out and throw that right away. Little pencil, rear driver. In case I don't know what rear is. Well, those ones are gonna have to come up this way. Stuck in there. Grab a gentle persuader. This little piece here really wants to hang on. Come on, let go, there you go. All right. Oh, gross. Oh yeah. No wonder the mice like this thing so much. So much home decor inside here. Well, knew there was more hanging out in here. Those are literally hanging on to Mama. Gonna try and humanely extract them and bring them outside to their new forever homes, which is not inside my boat. I tried to spare you guys the agony of watching me struggle with that one. But now we got to the real crux. So when I get those guys and we figured out, well, look how loose this is now. All those boards out, that pressure was just amazing how much it was holding on. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to pin these corner bits back together so I don't lose the whole boat by it falling apart like this. I'll catch you guys in a minute. Well, I found a mom, maybe, and a dad, maybe. Although the big one over there that doesn't have babies attached to it, he was in a different piece of styrofoam that I didn't even know had mice in it. But we're going to go let him out in the woods somewhere, probably across the street. Don't tell anyone. Well, debacle averted, maybe? No, not averted. Definitely addressed, though. So now, I'm just going to suck all this stuff out because it's full of stuff and things and nastiness. But we'll have a cleanish boat free of mouses. And that's a good place to start. All right, cleaned up a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead, take her out. Really hose her down now that she's completely open. hopefully get all the rest of this nastiness out of here. And we'll see where we get to. Oh, finally got her all ripped up. Took a nice little brush into it. Rinsed it out pretty good. Starting to come up with some ideas for layouts and things that we want to do with it. And by we, I mean the wife and I. This will be a nice little boat for the kids and us. Small little 14. I may or may not have a 16 sitting out back. Well, we'll come to that later. A few years after we got it, we started noticing oil, and that's when we parked it. It would just leave little bits of oil, and it wasn't too bad. And then I felt a big crack in here. This was all blue before I started messing with it today, and I was just taking it apart, trying to take a look at that crack. I was just going to JB weld it up for us. You know, we're not taking it out on any big water or anything, just little tiny lakes around. And I found Bondo, looks like, underneath it, because I started cleaning it with brake clean and a little brush. And by golly, that whole brake, the broken poofy area, was from somebody else this whole time, and it wasn't us. So I'm going to attempt to clean this out. I'm going to see about possibly getting this to seat better, and maybe even trying my hand at one of those aluminum brazing rods. If that doesn't work, I'll grind it all out. I've got a buddy with a big welder at his house. Might end up taking it to him, take the lower unit apart, drain it of all the oil, and just bring him the casing. But I just thought this was super interesting, and it makes me happy that we didn't break it, that some other ding dong. You know, the whole thing was $100. Trailer, wheels, motor. I did some points on it, and it ran. Didn't really do anything to it, but now that we know it's been damaged before, I don't feel so bad about tinkering with it. So I'm gonna get on this. I'm gonna clean all this Bondo shit off, see how much I can get this to seat. Hopefully quite a bit. So this is flusher, but then we're probably going to be giving this a paint job. But it's still a good little motor. Purrs like a kitten when it's running. Just got to play with the points again. I'll take all this. We just threw some white paint on it so it wasn't so ugly, but as you can see, we didn't prep it or anything. We just threw a quick rattle can on there, but I think we're actually going to try and clean this one up. Nothing else. I got a little bit bigger motor I would love to throw on this bad boy and just fly, especially with the added weight from the decking.